Good morning, traders and investors. Thank you for tuning in to Pre-Market Prep, the best place each morning to get your overnight news, to get your breaking news, some good trading ideas, some education. And hey, you know what? We have a lot of fun on here. It's just a good time to kind of hang out with the guys and get some good info. Today is Tuesday, February 11th, 2025. The seesaw market here continuing. Guys are going to talk about the Trump tariffs continuing, steel, some discussion about cars, chips, pharma potentially. We're going to see how Dennis feels. This was already priced in a little bit. Some earnings this morning, Shopify, Coca-Cola, Astera Labs. Tonight we're going to be getting results out of Supermicro, Lyft, DoorDash, a couple others. Tomorrow, heads up, Biogen, CVS, Generac. We're kind of really like dwindling out here on the earnings season. We're getting a little less exciting, but that doesn't mean that there isn't opportunity. A quick heads up, Fed Chair Jay Powell will be giving a testimony before the U.S. Joint Economic Committee today at 10 a.m. and tomorrow the all-important inflation data starting CPI at 8:30 a.m. and PPI at 8:30 a.m. on Thursday. We're going to get over to Joel in just a second here. Oh, you know what? I didn't mention the guest. Our guest today at 8:35 a.m., Mark Chaikin of Chaikin Analytics. He's got some discussion points on tariffs, pullbacks, and an earnings trifecta. Let's get over to Joel to take a look at the markets. But first, folks, let's run that pre-market prep intro.
The volatility right now is really incredible.
Wow, look at that consolidation on the upper right chart.
You know what we've seen this earnings season? Some of these expected moves get even more violent. And this is why I have switched my strategy 10 years ago. And if you're chasing, you're in trouble.
All right, good morning, traders and investors. Let's get things started here in the red. Never even had a chance. Never even saw that closing price of 88.50. Down 15 and 3/4 handle, 60.73, comfortably off that pre-market low. The buck pulling back a little bit. A couple days at tight ranges, down 8 cents, still above 108. TLT giving some back here, down 55 cents, 88.45. USO put in that double bottom up, $1.02, 78.42. GLD new all-time high, pulling back down $2, 266.37. And if you want a laggard trade, well, how about silver? Down 59 cents, 28.61, never getting near that recent high of the move. And Bitcoin up $460 at 98,140. Let's bring everyone on the stage too, and that includes you, Brentster. Brentster, I got a question for you.
What? Am I in trouble, Joel?
No more than usual.
Oh
What
my
is your
gosh.
favorite book on that shelf?
Oh, I like it. Hold on, let me turn the show off. Favorite book on the shelf. I mean, I got my Dune collection over here. I don't actually see Dune 1 up there, but I mean, probably a Dune. I'm a big Dune fan.
Okay, all right. Let's bring in Triple D and
There he is.
CF and
There
Dennis
he
in
is.
his usual fired up mode.
Always fired up. That's what I do. I'm fired up. But you know what? The kids actually get to go to school today because it's only due for 4 to 5 inches of snow today. So the buses run through that. That's where we're at here right now. Snowing pretty hard right now. Buses are actually running because, believe it or not, I believe this is the 18th snow day that we've had this winter. So the kids have basically missed a month of school due to snow up here. It
My
snows
gosh.
every day. We get 4 to 5 inches. That's just a normal day. I know they have the big snowstorm warning down there in the D because they're going to get 5 to 6 inches. I'm probably getting that today, and the school buses are running in it. But on that same snowstorm that you're supposed to get Thursday night, we're supposed to get 20 to 30 more inches of snow.
No.
That's what they're calling 20 to 30 more. So up in our area,
Is
which
this a
we already
record-breaking
have.
year?
It's got to be like accumulate. I don't know what the numbers are, but it's got to be 7, 8 feet. Like it is like when you're just going through untouched areas and obviously it settles down, it's over my waist, like just in the middle of the yard. And then the 20-foot high, banks, and it just looks like, it I don't even know it's just white. Everything is just white outside. So white.
Love it.
It's very pretty, but it starts to get like exhausting, just every day fighting snow. So this has been a long winter, but it's not a weather show. This is pre-market prep, and we are talking stocks here, and we are talking algos, and we are talking steel. Man of Steel, Trump. the man of steel, coming in hot as always. So we knew yesterday morning steel tariffs were going to come in. All the steel stocks were trading higher. Market ignoring it. Maybe they were thinking he was bluffing. Officially announced last night. What does the steel stocks do? They all rally on it again. Market sells off on it. This was announced when the S&P futures are closed around 5:30. S&P futures reopen at 6, immediately tank. So maybe they thought that Trump was going to change his mind. Not the case whatsoever. So S&P sell off on the steel tariff news. And obviously the steel stocks are rallying higher. Nucor, X, Steel Dynamics, which gets an upgrade. Full disclosure, I'm long a little bit of Steel Dynamics, which I intend to sell this morning. I bought that just because. The only reason I bought Steel Dynamics was because I thought, well, they're probably going to rally on it again, and they did. And then I catch as an upgrade, so that's a little bit of luck. But Christian, I've been talking for 2 minutes. It's been a long run-on sentence. How was your evening?
Was good. I mean, I think we had the bounce yesterday in terms of what happened on Friday, and we didn't have that gap down on Monday, but it kind of just seemed like yesterday that I don't know. I didn't really want to chase anything yesterday into the bounce because it kind of felt a little bit short-lived. And sometimes you have these snapback bounces, but again, it doesn't really seem like the overall market is going anywhere. So in this market, I think you got to be really careful about, adding into things for strength. And I was looking at some things that were down a little bit yesterday because I just think it's really, really tough, especially like in the first hour of trading. Some stocks are going up 2-3%, and then there's a good probability that those might give it back by the afternoon. So that's kind of where I'm sitting right now, is just trying to be very careful about entries in this market.
And I think there's, it's the type of market where you've got so much whipsaw action. It's like not about chasing. It's about your setups. It's still about the fade trade. We've seen multiple Trump pumps, multiple Trump dumps. But we got Shopify up there, and we're going to do a few of these.
Yeah. Let's go to that report, Dennis. It looks like a pretty good report to me. 281 versus 273, sales at 2.81 billion versus estimates of 2.73 billion. Revenue growth mid 20% year-over-year basis. Why did they tank the only Canadian tech company?
Yeah, this is our Canadian tech company. Good Ontario company here. You'd say it's bar. You could say it's bar. We were down at 80. We're up at 120 since the last report. I know we gapped up on the last report, so maybe they were really expecting a big number. But sometimes you just don't know. Like I've argued, I think in some cases you could actually have the report sitting in your hand if you were an insider, let's say, and you actually have the report. Sometimes the market reaction is still unknown. Like it's okay, it's a slight beat. Okay, it's a slight raise. Is it going to go up or down on that? It's very, very difficult to predict moves. There is definitely a lot of random walk to this market. But if you were listening to the pre-market show, Christian Fromhertz all over it. The stock was trading down at 110, and he was saying, I think the stock bounces back here today. And I kind of agreed. Like I was like, this is the kind of stock, kind of a loved stock, especially in Canada, that they probably do buy back. And I know you went shopping and shop a little bit there, Christian. Pick some up. Tell us about your trade and what are your thoughts here, now?
Yeah, I mean, whatever you kind of go through results, and these results hit, and I was out getting coffee, and I was looking to see. I'm like, okay, well, what am I missing? I was like, the stock is down quite a bit, and all the numbers look good. So, to your point, sometimes you could have the numbers in hand, and you still don't get it right. And we've watched a couple of these stocks, like Docs was one of them. Yesterday it was Monday. And it kind of just seemed like I was like, what am I missing here? Why is the stock down? And, so just quickly, I mean, I just bought a little bit of shares, while I was out, and I was like, okay, let me get back to my seat and so forth. But, it still was kind of a little bit slow to come back. So sometimes you just it just doesn't make sense. But I mean, the stock is all over the place. The stock went up to 121. I don't know if what time the conference call.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that, Dennis. Those were the fake 8 o'clock prints, right?
Where is that?
I just see a pop in this last 15 bracket to 120, 152.
Yeah. Those are old prints. So
Yeah,
those are the
yeah.
prints from last night, because actually last night it was trading up $2 ahead of the report. So the people who were trading this after hours got it wrong. They were relentlessly buying it last night. So they were very confident that this shop was going to beat and raise, which they kind of did. But the reaction they got wrong. I think Christian's point, though, and the point I want to make is, in these cases, there's a lot of times where a stock beats and has a pretty good report. Those are the kind of ones you want to buy the dip on. When they miss and lower, avoid at all. Like I would say, avoid those stocks, but look towards more of the ones that maybe are down just because it had a higher bar. And those are the ones that typically bounce back. Also think about, your loved category. We're saying we need to categorize the stocks. Loved, hated. I'd put Shopify more in the loved category.
I would.
There's obviously hated stocks, and they churn. Sometimes they can cross over, and a loved stock can become hated, just like Tesla is right now. But I mean, there's definitely the story drives it. There's still a good story here. People tend to buy this dip on these stocks that are, the quarters were fine, and it's just maybe an overreaction there, to the bar. So I agree with you, Christian. I think it was a good buy. I know you bought some stock at 110. I think it was a good buy. I think Shopify, again, you're 115, you're kind of in the middle here, but down there at the 105, 110 area, probably was a good buy. What was?
And the conference call, by the way, does not start until 8:30. So just a heads up there.
So
Okay,
things
and
could change in a hurry.
yeah,
on
if
the
you're
call.
looking for an exit on this one, this is not investment advice. But you had a pair of lows on Thursday and Friday at the one split. This is called 116, 116.63 and a half. So that's an area. I know we just popped above there. But there, I'm looking at that as some short-term resistance. I don't know if you're going to see that close of 119.90. Do we want to sneak Coca-Cola in here? Or
Yeah,
do
we
want...
do.
Okay. All
Give us
right.
those numbers there, Joel.
Okay. Coca-Cola trading up quite a bit here. And I know you got a lot of comments on this one, but the Coke report, 55 versus 52. Nice beat on the revenues, 11.5 versus 10.677. EPS growth, nice. And kind of a down market. Good day for Coke, Dennis. I know you were looking at this one.
It's all about rotations too. So understanding which stocks go up and which stocks go down. When you see the S&P down 20 handles, automatically you assume staples are going to be higher. It's just what they do. It's the defense the market plays. So usually on a big down day in the S&P, staples are higher, utilities are higher, and oil is higher. That's exactly what we're seeing here happen this morning. Same story. So Coke actually, believe it or not, you could say, oh, the S&Ps are down today. This isn't a great day to report. It is if you're Coke, because Coke typically moves inversely with the S&P because it's defensive. I'd argue that if the S&P was up 20 or 30 handles and they were buying tech stocks hand over fist, Coke could actually be down on this report on that day. So Coke absolutely reported on the right day. And the earnings, in the case of Shopify, they were fine. In the Coca-Cola case, they're fine. But this is, a great day for Coke to report because it's a defensive day and Coke is a defensive stock. So, I mean, they didn't blow it away by any means, but it's a good enough report. And when you're a defensive stock on a defensive day, you're going to rally. And that's why Coke is up pretty significant. A big move for Coke, up to over 3%.
What would I don't know what the expected move is on this one, and I was hoping that it was going to hang at 67 because I don't think this thing's opening over 67, and that's a number of the day. It's number of the week. It's number of the month. I mean, this is such a big. What were they expecting? $1.50 move? I think this is so far expected. You got to sweep the book for $2.28. If it opens 67 and then goes to 67.20 and then come down back through 67, watch out if you don't want to take a shot. But a lot of stock. It has traded a lot of stock. But man, you're buying Coke at 67 off the hop. Well, congratulations. Hope it goes to 68.
All right, I'm going to jump in here, and we're going to bring on our guest in just a sec. Here we go. There he is, Mark Chaikin of Chaikin Analytics. How is your morning going, sir?
It's going well. How are you guys?
Hanging in there. Dennis is snowed in, but
Always.
he seems
Never
okay with
stops.
it.
I saw the sun for like 5 minutes 3 days ago, and I was like, what is that big yellow thing in the sky? It's kind of scary looking. Is there like an apocalypse coming? Oh no, it's the sun. I just hadn't seen it in 2 months. Yeah. Interesting.
So Mark,
how are you?
Yeah, I've got a different take on Shopify, guys.
there we go.
The estimate was 43 cents, but the whisper number was 47 cents, and they came in at 42.
Oh.
And the stock was right at the upper volatility band. So no room for any disappointment. And that's according to Earnings Whisperer.
Would you be buying the dip in a Shopify stock or stay away from this?
No, I'd buy it, but you got to give it a day to 3 days to play out. You can't be the first one in the door on this, because it was so overextended. It's a great stock. Power gauge is bullish. On the other hand, the power gauge is bearish on Coke. So I think this rally is an opportunity if people have been stuck in the stock to get out. I just don't think defensive stocks have much in the way of legs in this economy and in this bull market.
Mark, whisper numbers. How closely? Who whispers in your ear for those numbers?
Where do you get that info? Where do you get the whisper
numbers?
Mark
Chaikin of Chaikin Analytics. He's been on Wall Street for since he's older than me.
Analytics get the whisper numbers.
We don't. I use them as a reference to gauge what the earnings reaction is and why. And I go to a site called earningswhisperer.com. It's a free site unless you want to really drill down on historic data. But they give you an instant read, and that's pretty darn good.
So, Mark, you're still bullish.
Very bullish. Something happened last week that confirms my thesis that this is going to be a good year for stocks. I don't know if you talked about it on the air. I assume you did. The Institute for Supply Management last Monday, a week ago Monday, reported the first tick over 50 in January, which means that the manufacturing sector is expanding for the first time in 26 months. So it reported a 50.9 tick. And more importantly, the new orders index spiked up from below 50 to above 55. And that has historically been extremely bullish 6 and 12 months out for the stock market. So it makes sense. The manufacturing sector was the one sector that was lagging. Obviously, services came back big time and tech, but it has a lot of impact, particularly in the small and mid-cap space. So we may start to see small and mid-cap stocks catch when the rally finally does break out, and breakout it would be above 6150 for me on the S&P.
Mark, how do you approach this market that is such whipsaw intraday action? Do you just kind of ignore like the whipsaw moves and just try to find the overall trend? But I mean, January was really the month of like, they're rallying. I've been calling it Trump bumps and Trump dumps and Trump pumps and Trump dumps. I mean, it's kind of just been driven by macro Trump headlines, really. We're getting tariffs. Oh no, there's no deal on the tariffs. Oh no, we're getting more tariffs. Oh, there's going to be a deal. I mean, how do you approach the market? How do you be an investor when you're just getting whipped around? Do you just ignore it all?
Well, you ignore the headlines, that's for sure. I said that in my market letter that came out yesterday, because they'll drive you crazy and they'll drive you off plan. But I think we're still in a buy the dip environment as long as the S&P holds the 5990 level on a closing basis. So, and we came pretty close on Friday, but bounced again. I think you've got to have your basket of stocks that you like on weakness. What I did on the weekend, I screened for all the stocks that had very strong reaction to positive earnings surprises last week. And so I've got a list of 20 names that I'm looking to buy on weakness. And that's, I think, how you approach it. You have to have a disciplined game plan, know what you want to do, and then you view volatility as your friend instead of something to fear.
All right, let's go to those earnings stocks. And one of them's already popped up in the chat. Echo Delta wants to know what Mark thinks of Palantir.
Well, we nailed that one, fortunately, in mid-January, and we put out a take profits advice in our trading service last week.
Okay.
I think if you have a very tight stop, you can hang on, but they're throwing crazy numbers around. We recommended the stock at 68 and got out at 106. So that's a
Great
pretty
trade.
good trade in 3.5 weeks for a lot of subscribers. But you've got people like Wedbush talking about $1 trillion market cap for a company that, hasn't even cracked the $1 billion revenue. So it's pretty insane right now. And you can hold on for dear life if you like momentum swings, but I think if you're a trader, you're definitely taking profits up here between 115 and 120, and maybe you get a chance to buy it back on a pullback. But I think that the play is over with a $260 billion market cap for a company that's just not there yet revenue wise. You just say thank you and move on.
How again, it's such a tricky market because there's pockets of like just irrational exuberance, let's call it, taking it from Alan Greenspan.
Yeah.
And then there's pockets of like, we don't like your company no matter what you do in earnings, like General Motors, for instance, which the quarter was actually really good.
Yeah.
And they sell it off hard. It's trading with a PE of 4 now. I mean, its story is so ice cold. It's like if you don't have a story, they just absolutely hate you. It's got to be difficult to just be, a fundamental analyst just trading off valuation, because this market doesn't appear to trade off valuation at all. It trades off a good story. You got a good story, it's hot. If you got no story, we don't care if you're dirt cheap because we're just not interested in you. Like,
Yeah, I
that,
agree with the only time valuation matters is at the bottom of a bear market. If you start playing the valuation game in a bull market, you're going to be on the sidelines faster than a guy who's cracked back the quarterback in the Super Bowl. You just can't do it.
So
And
this isn't just something of 2025. This is probably something just that's embedded into the markets altogether. When the bull is running rampant, valuation doesn't matter at all.
until it matters, but you only know that in the rearview mirror in hindsight. But I have always been a proponent of strong stocks and strong industry groups. If the industry group will give you a tailwind, and so if that's your first filter on buy ideas, you're ahead of the game immediately. So, software, obviously, semis, IT. There's so many industry groups that are strong. The financial sector, very strong. So why swim against the tide? And I do have two names that I can offer up.
Oh yeah,
one of
please.
them, Garmin reports earnings next Wednesday, so a week from tomorrow. Stock's been in a beautiful uptrend. They've really changed their business model from geolocation to fitness, and earnings are good. It's not cheap when you're speaking about valuations, but look at the last four earnings reports. 3 of them were very positive earnings surprises, and the stock popped beautifully. The only time it didn't was during a downswing in the market 3 quarters ago. So I am expecting Garmin to beat expectations and maybe spike up to the 240 level, trading at around 214 last night.
Yeah, this is a company. It's a great company to bring up, Mark, because not only the last couple of reports, but I think if you go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I think out of the last 10 quarters, it's only gone down once. When what I'm looking at there is that right column where it says it's tough to. I know it's tough to read on your screens, but price change. And so, is this something that you look at a lot, where like the pattern of a company where they know how to set the bar? Because I believe that some companies know how to set the bar so that they put the expectations right about where they can kind of jump over it. And and I think that's a product of how this name is basically their earnings history. Is they're just doing a very good job managing that.
Yep, I do. In earnings season, if I'm trading in the options market particularly, I go through that. I start with the power gauge, industry group power gauge. It's bullish. Then I look at the trend of earnings. In this case, I'm looking at the fourth quarter earnings reports. I'm singling out the one, quarter that we're about to get. And then I look at the seasonal patterns, and the seasonal pattern for Garmin is very bullish for the next 4 weeks. So I think you've got the wind at your back. It's just one trade that I like because it's got a bullish power gauge rating. And another stock that reports actually tomorrow after the close is Pega Systems, PEGA, has a bullish power gauge rating, solid software company, history of positive earnings surprises again. So these are for traders, really. If I go into these, I buy an option or put on a bullish spread and then unwind it if it spikes up.
So in some cases, you actually intentionally go through the report, like through options, like, because a lot of traders actually, even myself, I might be long a stock into a report, but I often exit ahead of the report because I don't want the unknown about the report. But you're talking about some strategies in this case is using options to actually intentionally go through the report to try to take advantage of a gap. Correct?
Well, yeah, exactly. Look at some of the gaps you've seen. There was a stock that I really was dead wrong on for about 2 years called Doximity, DOCS. And then suddenly they had a massive earnings surprise last quarter. And look what happened. Another earnings surprise. And, the shorts in stocks like this are still on the wrong side of the trend. So I didn't play Doximity, but let's put it this way. When I first started the power gauge rating and zero, I was at Drexel Burnham when I had access to their quantitative database where earnings surprise was a major component. And I came up with the line, because I was living in New York City, that earnings surprises are like cockroaches. There's never just one of them. They come in bunches. And so if you're a trader, I love buying ahead of earnings, particularly if a stock is oversold or has pulled back ahead of earnings, and hold into the earnings report if it has a history of positive earnings surprises. And that's one of the 20 factors in the power gauge.
Interesting stock there, Pega Systems. And I know, Dennis, you're going to say that I was a bad kid, but when we used to throw snowballs at cars, we used to call it pagan. When we used to throw snowballs at cars, you would hide in the bushes, and then cars would come by.
Joel was such a bad kid. Like how he got here and not in jail for all the bad stuff that he did as a kid.
What was the best?
Pizza guy.
What was the best?
Snowballs at cars.
Well, the best would be if someone would come out and chase you after you, they stop the car and then they chase you. Then you'd have to run and hide. But no, anyways. Mark,
I don't want my kids ever listen to this show because they learn so many bad things from Joel.
Yeah.
How about a travel stock, Mark? I know you're a travel guy. Let's talk about Expedia.
It's one of our 10 stocks for 2025, a portfolio that we launched in mid-December. I like the stock. They had a great report. I don't think anybody expected it because look at the price action heading into the report. But I think Expedia has legs here, and on a pullback, I'd be a buyer. And there's a wild thought in my head that Uber might buy them at some point.
I know. That's when I got interested. That's when my ears peaked up on this thing. And this was the gap. When was that? Was that August or was that November?
Yeah, there was some talk because the CEO of Uber used to be the CEO of Expedia, and ironically,
yes.
It would be pocket change for them to buy them at this valuation. I'm not saying they will. I did see something in the press about that about 4 months ago, so it's in the back of my head. But I think this is a great stock to own in 2025. And I'll give you one other, what not to own?
No, go ahead, because I got.
I'll give you one other stock that reported beautifully. Brinker International,
that's right.
EAT, and you got to buy this pullback at some point. It was a superb earnings report. This has been on my radar screen for probably 6 months, and sort of kicking myself that we never had a chance to officially recommend it in one of our newsletters. But it's just a beautiful chart. Fine company. I think it's Chili's, isn't it? Don't they own Chili's? Is that one of their?
Chili's is big on the comeback. Yep. bigger than
Yeah.
like I saw this huge mail for like $11.99 or
Yeah.
something like that.
So there's a stock I would definitely be looking to buy on a pullback, and it looks like you're getting it here.
Does the Chaikin
Chili's,
Power Gauge ever go negative?
Maggiano's. There's
yeah?
a pile of stocks that this owns, but Chili's probably the big ones.
Yeah,
Does the Power Gauge ever go negative?
sure. We've got
Okay.
this.
I got a stock. Someone asked about this stock, and give me the Power Gauge rating on Estee Slaughter.
Oh, I've been bearish on this stock for 2 years. This is they're going through a corporate crisis, and the family is not happy. Jane Lauder has been marginalized, and she's been with the company a long time. It's just that they've lost their mojo, basically. The Power Gauge has been bearish since April when the stock was at 140. Chaikin money flows negative. Smart money has been selling every rally. It's been underperforming the market since early May. This is no place for your money.
So you're telling me you can't put any lipstick on this pig here? And
Yeah,
that's too easy.
I'm blushing now.
All right, hey, Mark, we're gonna let you go. You know what I never realized? You never have screen shared on this show. Can you think maybe we could get to it's really easy to do as far as smart Wall Street guy
show
like
me
you.
how to
Mark
do it.
Chaikin.
Let's do it. Let's do it right now. I'll screen share Estee Lauder.
Okay. All right. Let's do it.
So what do I do here?
All right. You go to. I'm going to stop sharing. You go
present. Right at the bottom. Present. And then you'll click
share
screen.
Click entire screen.
Well, he doesn't even want to share his entire screen. Share screen, and then click whatever you want to show. You'll see a whole bunch of tabs which you can show.
Here it is. So when you asked me about Estee Lauder, that's what I looked at, and we read the chart from the bottom up. Why? Because that's the Power Gauge rating, so you can see it's just been disaster, and then right above that is the relative strength, this stochastic of relative strength versus the SPY, and then Chaikin money flow. And if you need confirmation that what the smart money is doing, that's a sea of red, and that, let's see, and we probably had some sell signals along the way. This is that's my favorite sell signal, relative strength sell signal.
So the little red arrows are where you guys are saying the sell signals kick in?
Well, that's where the system is telling you the sell signals kicked in. Yeah,
pretty good.
And the relative strength is on the bottom, right? All the way.
No, that's the Power Gauge is on the bottom. That's and the relative strength is above that. But this relative strength sell signal is, I guess it comes out of Connors and Radke. This is a stock that's underperforming the market, that goes above its 21-day exponential and then drops below it. And when it drops back below the 21-day exponential, if it's been underperforming with a bearish Power Gauge, it's a great time to go short or exit a stale position.
Mark, while we got your platform open, they want Unity. Multiple people are asking for it in the chat. I kind of want Unity as well. It's a stock that I did play long. I'm out of it now. Coming back to the area that I bought at 18 to 20, is there a case to buy the dip in Unity, or is this one Power Gauge stays away?
Well, the charts, this looks like a cup and handle if you believe in that. And it was bullish for a while, but I just think that they've missed their opportunity. Their virtual reality capability is par excellence. You have people building auto factories and visualizing where assembly lines are going to be relative to supply chain feeders, and yet they just can't get out of their own way. It just doesn't cut it for me. They're estimating 90 cents versus $1.08. It's just not right. And now it's starting to underperform the market again. But I look at the Chaikin money flow and I say it's all red, even when the stock bounces up for 2 weeks. That's telling me that smart money is selling the rallies.
Other places to be. What about Cloudflare, NET?
That's had a bullish rating. I love, see, look at that earnings surprise spike. That's why I like to hold stocks with bullish ratings into earnings, because more often than not, you'll get a positive earnings surprise. So I'll just show you some inside baseball. Here are the 5 factors in the Power Gauge that relate to earnings. 5 out of 20. The earnings surprise factor is bullish. And so going into earnings, I always screen for that. We actually have an indicator up here that tells you whether the analysts are raising estimates and the company has a history of earnings surprises. And that's what I look for.
Extended session here with Mark Chaikin of Chaikin Analytics, a veteran of Wall Street. Mark, what a special treat! Now that we have the access to your charts, man, we're gonna keep you on for a long time. Thanks, Mark. We'll dial you up again real soon.
My pleasure. You know, I love being with you guys. You're the best.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark.
Be well.
All right, so we got to get Christian's live reaction here to Shopify as it clears that level that I thought might be resistance here. Do you think it's going to see the close, Christian? That's only $1.68 away here. Shop coming all the way back.
I'm sorry, what was the question? Do I think it's going to
see the close? Yeah, go
green,
see the close or go green.
Yeah, it's got a good possibility, and the conference call just started, so that conference call is at 8:30. Yep. So
it's popping up on the conference comments right now because you can tell. So here's a lesson for you too: you can really tell when the action picks up, the bids, offers start moving aggressively, and then you know there's news. You always know when a stock has news. Like, I mean, just looking at your montage and just looking at the bid ask moving aggressively, it wasn't moving like that 10 minutes ago. It had calmed down. Then it starts just boom, boom, boom. The algos are like ding, 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 ding. Bids, offers moving, bids, offers moving, bids, offers moving. You know that's news breaking on that. So, you know, that's just tape reading and just understanding, you know, the different action. Like certain stocks, bids and offers are always moving. Like a Palantir, it's almost always moving like that because it's just, you know, so much action in it. But when you get, you know, outside of those, you know, stocks that are trading hundreds of millions of shares a day, you know, there'll be, you know, movement on the print, and then a lull, and then it's like, oh, the bid and the ask are kind of just here, and they're not moving much. Then all of a sudden, you know, that's moving again like this. You know the conference call, they're talking again. So there's new information being disseminated through the market, obviously through the conference call. So Shopify probably just had some commentary there. You can quickly see it's trying to pop up here right now. It's only down 40 cents right now. The dip definitely was bought in Shopify.
And it used to be when they went 100 up. That's when you knew there was news or a halt was coming. But now all the markets are 100 up here. Another stock.
We got a little stock here. I just want to break it in because this is what happens in these Trump stocks. DOMH, which I don't know much about. Dominary Holdings, but it popped up yesterday significantly here. Was down this morning, but they just had a press release here, and I believe the stock is indeed halted right now, so you won't see the stock moving, but it's going to move, folks. 8:30 just came out. So they halted at 8:25 for pending news. 8:30, the news is Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump joined Damary's Holdings Advisory Board, announced a $13.5 million registered direct and private placement at $347 a share. So you got Donald Trump Jr. down and dirty and DOMH, whoever, you know, was rumored yesterday because the stock doubled yesterday at one point in time. This obviously, you know, has come to fruition here now. So I would expect this to be just a huge mover here when this comes out of the halt. We don't have a time for when this is going to come out of the halt. They typically halt them, you know, anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes when the news is already disseminated. I would expect this to maybe open even before the open. It's going to move.
So this is a wealth management company. They specializes in providing wealth management, investment banking, sales and trading, asset management, insurance, as well as brokerage services. They are in New York City. So first I've ever heard of this one, but that's the quick background.
You're going to hear a lot about it today in the media because we know when Donald Trump Jr. gets in there, everything is moving off of them. Just commentary from the CEO of Dominary, if I'm saying it right, Securities. Thrilled to welcome Don Jr. and Eric as advisors to the team. They've achieved significant success across a wide range of industries and bring valuable leadership and strategic insight that we will believe will be highly beneficial for our firm. So, I mean, one thing is certain. The Trump family is going to get very rich off this presidency. Again, you know, obviously taking positions and getting in here and now getting disclosed. I wouldn't be surprised if the stock goes over $10 on this.
Yeah, no wonder he's getting rid of all the regulatory agencies. I don't think you're going to see the all-time high of 38,244.82.
Has this been one of those like stories of like, I don't have that, Joel, on my charts, but I'm wondering if that was an old ticker symbol.
I don't know.
I have this IPO'd at 2022 if it's not right at $3. So maybe there was something else happening there because your chart goes back further.
Right.
But I have an IPO on this at 2022. What do you have on this, Christian? Do you have that back stuff? That might just be an old stock ticker that didn't get adjusted or something.
Yeah.
Opening time 9 a.m.
Yeah, because that's back to like 2018. I see that same thing that Joel's seeing too, but I don't know how that could be if it's a newer company.
Yeah, so I'm not sure either. No, I may be wrong. I'm just seeing my chart shows that it actually reorged. Maybe it was a reorg or something too, but something happened in March or in December of 2022. So boom, opening time 9 a.m. We'll stay with you till 9:01 just to see where this puppy opens, but we're gonna take guesses. So from the chat, this is gonna be a fun game. Where does DOMH reopen? I'm gonna say $10. What's everybody else? We'll give it to Christian, Joel, and Brentster a chance to chime in here. I'm setting it at 10. I think it opens at 10. Where's everybody else thinking?
1191.
9 a.m.
No, it's opening at 9 a.m. Joel. We're asking the price.
Joel.
What was that other stock that before?
10:01. He's pricing. Seeing it's just prices rated me.
All right, you're seeing it. I 10. Well, you just saw the indication. What was the? Someone. Jared King Rombold said it did a reverse split 4 for 17 in 2019.
Okay, so
what
that's
was that? I'm trying to think of the precedents on this, but I don't know. I mean, it's a question of the people that bought it yesterday. Are they selling it today? I mean, that's going to be the prediction.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Was this rumored? So did anybody follow in the chat? We have, a couple hundred. Well, we have more than that. We have possibly 1,000 people sitting in our chat here right now. Did anybody follow this story yesterday? Because this stock doubled yesterday. Was this rumored yesterday? Like, why did the stock double yesterday ahead of this announcement? So I'm curious if this was just rumored on the street. Again, small cap stock that we're not looking at typically on this show. But was this rumored yesterday?
I'm looking around.
There's no options on this thing. I just checked the option chain, but there are no options. So,
well, look at this. Look at this volume spike. Boy, oh boy. 921,000 on Friday. 24 million. Boy, oh boy, oh
wow.
boy.
24 million shares traded yesterday. So we're trying to figure out if this was actually rumored. It must have been rumored yesterday or something.
And as you know, you don't have to know.
Or there was a lot of accumulation from a lot of friends yesterday on this one.
You said it. I did it.
Huge move. I probably was rumored just because it was up so much yesterday, but I don't see the rumor from yesterday. I'm looking, at multiple news sources, and I don't see any rumor there yesterday. I see that it was halted on a circuit breaker to the upside. So it did have a trading halt yesterday, but I didn't see any actual news yesterday. So we're just trying to see if this was rumored before. Nobody in the chat.
Dennis, if you haven't seen it, then it's you probably.
Well, I didn't know that, so I'm literally researching on the fly here. But I'm just.
Well, this isn't right. This is not exactly one of the stocks in your radar. So, you want to go to Astera Labs? A love stock here. Let's go to Astera Labs, and how'd they do? Let's see. They beat 37 versus 26. They beat on sales 141 versus 128. Looks like a good guide to me. 3 to 4 pennies versus a loss of a cent. Estimated revenue better. I mean, they did like it initially as this thing spiked in the after hours trading. 118.43. Wow, that was one heck of a bracket. And then it went to 90.04. And now it's settling down here. $100. That level's interesting to me. The pair of lows from the last two sessions, right around $100. Minor resistance, and it's been putting a cap on the rally so far here in the pre-market.
I want to just put the mechanics again to this. We taught it a few days ago, but we teach it again. When we launch our new product, which we're trying to launch in March, we're going to be doing a lot of this teaching in it. But 100. So what happens is stock closes at 4 o'clock, 103. Then the announcement comes out. The algos see the beat and they see the good numbers, and they literally lift every offer. So they take out everything that's literally sitting in the after hours book. Now it's sitting up here at 118, but they just cleared the book. So there is no bids below them because they just cleared everything out. So there's nothing in here, and it's instantaneously they're clearing this. So now what you have is they're relying on follow through, where new people coming in, seeing the good earnings and taking it up further. If there isn't follow through, there's nothing in here. So they go to sell. There's like, oh, sell, oh, sell. So it can fall very quickly on a gap because there's a vacuum where there's nothing in there. So then you see the stock just boom, fall and collapse. And the algos are like, oh, we're on the wrong side. And then they're trying to sell and get out. And then they're caught. So I actually think you probably see some of the news algos get hit on this, where they're actually lifting all the offers. Then there's no follow through. And then they got to hit bids that aren't even there. And then you see the thing whipsaw and go back down through all the way down to, what'd you say, Joel? Like in the 80s? Where did it get down to? $90. And then, rational thought. Like humans are slower. So humans come in and they slowly start to fill up the book again, but they're much slower than the algos. So, again, if you're running news algorithms, you've got to be very careful. In some cases, they sweep it out and it's a good report and it continues to go. Think of Netflix, where you actually sweep out the first 30 points and then it goes 100 and they just kill it. I think in some cases they absolutely kill or they wouldn't continue to run it. But in some cases they get killed. In this case on Astera Labs, they absolutely get killed on this one.
Yeah, this is, when the earnings came out last night, because I know that there's been a lot of retail interest in this name. I was trading this name for a bit while it was having this nice ascent up. And I wasn't trading it yesterday, but I was watching. I was, interested in the report. And some of these smaller names, it just takes a while before you can get all the information out there. The stock was already moving, but I didn't see all their numbers. But, if you look at how much money this company makes, it's not that much. And that's kind of discouraging me a little bit because what is it? They did beat their earnings, but it's like $151 million or they see first quarter 2025 revenue 151 to 155. So this is not a company that makes a ton of money. So it kind of, to me, it kind of goes off my radar a little bit. I am interested to see what happens. And you got a couple price target raises. Deutsche Bank's out there. They raised their price target to 120 versus 100. So they like it. But I don't know. It seems too small to me. It seems like that money is not enough to get this stock to charge right back up to those previous highs.
Okay. All right. Boy, oh boy. We are hanging out near the lows of the pre-market session here. Only down 22 handles, though. Tried to pop a few times. Big tech in the red. I don't know if we want to talk about Tesla at all, Dennis.
Yeah, we can. It got to the 350 that I was talking about for a while. I kind of thought it was going to go down to 350. And I also thought it might grab some support there because it was old resistance in November and December. We always say old resistance becomes new support. So this whole area is a logical area for Tesla to bounce in. Right now, people have been asking me a lot about this. Like I get multiple questions every day because a lot of people were long Tesla. And obviously I turned on it about just about a week and a half ago. I got nervous that, I saw first off, we saw numbers coming out, of Europe there and Germany, and registration significantly down. And we've seen some other numbers coming down. And then we see, countries like Canada, tearing up Starlink things because of, Musk. And I'm like, man, I'm just scared. I don't know. Again, it's just, we've talked about this before, and we have to be careful because we're not trying to upset people. It's not a political conversation. But most CEOs don't talk politics because they don't want to cut off half their customer base. I mean, really, realistically, it's half Dems, half, 49%, 51%, whatever you want to call it, Republicans. The Dems are pissed off. Like when I talk to them, they do not like Musk. There was a lot of Dems that bought Teslas. So I don't know what those numbers look like. Again, I think still the long-term story in Tesla is good, but I'm very scared of the short-term damage that's been done to the brand for a lot of, potential buyers. So I think you're seeing, people are making other excuses, but I do think it's those registration numbers we're seeing in Germany. It's the other numbers we've been seeing coming. It's, the talk of, a lot of people not buying. And obviously in Canada, they're concerned as well because, there's talk that Trump wants to make Canada the 51st state. There's a lot of Canadians very ticked off right now, and those people blame Musk for this as well. So I mean, this is the unknown. I don't know what kind of short-term damage has been done to the Tesla brand. So I'm kind of sitting out most of it. I was very oversized. We know that. Rode it from 180 to all the way up to 470. It didn't sell any at 470. Finally started selling at 420, and then sold more at 385 last week. So I still have a position. It's kind of a normal size position now, even slightly undersized maybe. But I mean, it's just again, as a trader and investor, you have to always adjust for new information. The new information we're getting is that there's a lot of people not buying Teslas right now, and that's a concern. I think eventually in the long term, there's going to be humanoids and everything that carry the story longer term. But short term, it's like, I think we're going to get a better re-entry point. It could be right now. If you like the story, maybe you're buying it right now. But again, valuation is extreme, and we're seeing sales estimates come down. That's not the combination I want to see. I want to see, sales numbers stabilize and stop seeing, and there's competition coming here too. So the story has slightly changed due to Musk's political views.
Yeah, and I think this people are worried that he was going after OpenAI, and I saw a little thing
that
about
too.
Yeah, spending some money on that. Let's talk about one hot stock here that's due to report, and then we can preview the CPI for tomorrow, and then we're gonna do some major ticker time because that went over real well yesterday. SMCI got over $40. Man, look at this, down 219. Everyone's sitting on pins and needles for this one.
I mean, this is going to be, what do they say in the business update? Do we get an update from BDO? What is happening? Obviously, going into this, people are very excited. People think that they're going to be cleared by BDO because the stock would not go from $25 to $40 in 6 trading sessions. So stock basically went up 60% into this print. So they better say bar is now higher here for SMCI because it's run up so far into the print in itself. I know it's down here today, but it's been moving and moving and moving. So again, a little bit of a coin flip. What I've said before is if all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dot your I's and cross your T's, SMCI is one of the cheapest AI plays out there. If there's any type of fraud or any type of, involved, then everything goes out the window. The whole theory goes out the window. So it's really difficult to, give this a green light until we hear what BDO has to say. I'm really curious what BDO has to say.
You've had the classic buy the rumor move at this point too. So yeah, I mean, it's been a real nice move. I see the stock coming right into some resistance. But I mean, it made a heck of a move yesterday on just basically momentum, but it's just a buy the rumor trade. I mean, that's a concept that we see over and over and over again. And so if you were looking for that, I think you got it. We talked about this stock back when, it made this move in November to December. I thought, it filled that gap down that was right at $47. And, I guess if you went, because the stock went all the way from $47 where it was and all the way back down to 25, 26. So you've got your bounce back and, the name is still in a downtrend. You're dealing with obviously event type driven news. So, could it change and could they come out with something? Sure. Do we know what they're going to say? Absolutely not. But I think if you're playing this game right now of, hey, momentum and just understanding buy the rumor, sell the news, I think you got what you're looking for. Now comes the heavy part of, the unknown. But I mean, and that's a great move from where it's been the last couple of days.
Incredible move.
Yeah.
Yep, that was something you're looking for. All right, big
Give
event.
us your tickers. Give us your tickers.
Well, no. Brett's going to preview the CPI real quick, PPI tomorrow, and then we'll do tickers for the remainder.
Okay.
Here I am tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Consumer Price Index. A couple readings here where I was looking at that base number or I was looking at the core number. The core number excludes important energy and food prices. So for the base figure first, we're looking for a month over month gain. I know that's the one you like to look at, right, Christian? Month over month?
Yes, that's correct. Yep.
Up 0.3%. That's what economists are currently expecting. Year over year for that base reading, up 2.9%. And then the core reading, which again excludes food and energy, core reading of CPI month over month up 0.3, and the year over year reading, we're expecting about a 3.1% increase. Again, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. And then we don't have to go over the numbers right now, but on Thursday, the producer price index also at the same time, 8:30 a.m., just to get that on your radar for a little bit later this week.
Thanks, Brentster.
Yeah, no
So,
problem. My pleasure.
We're trying to do more themes. 8:55. We're going to start trying to do this every day where ticker time comes out. We're going to even get Josh to make us like a little banner or something, or a little preview. So ticker time. We're getting tickers already coming in here right now. So give them to us here. We're going to start with the first one that I saw, ACHR, which is a fun stock, Archer Aviation. It's not one we talk about a lot, but it's a stock that moves and has been moving. November, this stock was $3, went up to $12 by the end of 2025. It's been a consolidation station here around $9, popped up to 10.20 yesterday, but giving it back here. I'm not sure. There must be a headline here today because it's trading down 10%. But we'll throw it to whoever. Oh, mixed shelf. Okay, so they did a mixed shelf this morning. So basically, that's often. So what happens if you do a mixed shelf? Usually an offering follows on these smaller companies. You can have mixed shelves from like Coca-Cola. That's usually debt offerings. There's usually never going to be a common stock offering. A small stock like Archer Aviation, probably a common stock offering to follow. So I did see the mixed shelf this morning, and they were selling first and asking questions later. Any of you guys got technicals here for us on ACHR?
Nine's a huge level. That was 880 to 9's huge. So, and that's the seams. It did spike below that, but that looks like where people are stepping up right now. I don't know, the offering maybe probably between 8 and 9, but it looks like everyone that got jammed yesterday, this $889 area, looks pretty solid to me right now.
Robinhood. Throw this one to Christian here, HOOD. It's been running too, obviously linked with crypto, but not that much because Robinhood just seems to go up every day, even when Bitcoin doesn't here. It's been one of those loved retail stocks as well. Christian Fromhertz, your thought on Robinhood?
Yeah, this has really run up into the report. I was long this name. I sold it yesterday. I took profits in it yesterday because I'm quite pleased with how this has acted in a market where we've been range bound, and so this is something that's broken out and really outperformed. I took profits yesterday, so again, they're going to have to. Stocks that do this into earnings, run like this into earnings, they're going to have to come up with a really strong report. Would I be a buyer on the dip now that I'm not in the stock in my trading account? Absolutely. As long as it's kind of the same thing that we just saw with Shopify. If they come out with a strong report and the stock dips 5-10%, I have some support nearby at 53.48. That's a little bit nearby. That's only about 5%.
We're getting hit here. Whew. Another late. Sorry, Christian.
Bit.
I just noticed we just made some new lows there. If you want to sell this, its highest closing price since that disastrous month in August of 2021, then you might get a shot. 55.86 was your close on. Oh, no, closed at 56.27 yesterday. 56.27, that's the key level for if you're looking to exit at the highest it's been in 4 years for a hood. Dennis, I saw Snowflake.
Sure.
So many times. Big seller at 190, but not a good level right now. Dennis, what's your take on Snowflake?
So I can do technicals on Snowflake. We've been in consolidation station. It is loved. Christian, did this one report already, or is it due to report? I think it's coming. I think it's later in the earnings season, though. Yeah, it is. It's later. So we're not going to get this
Christian just had to pop. I'm looking right now for you, Dennis. Okay.
Yeah, it's later on. So again, maybe you're waiting and consolidating here up near the highs. So consolidation up near the highs is never a bad thing to consider. So, and I mean, this stock has kind of turned. It was very hated for the entire year of 2024 until about November. And then we started running, up there, it had pullback. This actually is starting to be in more of the loved category. So I think you're maybe buying dips, especially maybe buying ahead of, a coming report here. But, you're at resistance, 187, 188. But I like consolidating up near the highs because often those stock moves resolve themselves higher.
I don't see confirmation.
I bet you I know what's
for
hitting us.
Snowflake.
I bet you I know what's hitting us, Brent.
What's that?
this Joker, and I'm looking for his comments. We got some guy speaking at 8:50.
Oh yeah,
Hammock.
Hammock?
Yeah, that I don't know what his comments are, but
Let me see if I
I
can
think
track it
or
down.
see if you could see anything on that, or else I'm just really making something good up here.
No, we're
Ham,
leaking. We've leaked about 10 handles since we started the show. So we are
yeah, but it
leaking. There was
really
somebody
picked
speaking
up
Fed speak this morning, Joel, you're saying? There was some Fed
8:50.
speak?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
DOMH is going to resume here. I think it just resumed. If you guys mind pulling up that chart, I know
Bring it up. It's
Yeah, I know
740.
we're
I don't know
looking at
where
a
it
few
reopened. I never saw the reopening print. 790. So it is up 28% here right now. So I was way high at 10. Bring it up,
Yeah,
Joel.
yeah, because
Joel's got some weird chart with pre-market prep, so we can bring up the pre-market chart, which would be nice to see.
there's your 1 minute.
We're right up there near the high. So I think we reopened around, well, we don't have the tick, maybe $7 only, actually. It's up at 8:15
Yeah, it
here
opened
now. So
it opened at 9:01 at 790.
790.
Wow,
Okay,
went
so I
to
don't know
6.
who's closest in the chat, but yeah.
Wow.
So we got a reopening here. Stock is wild right now, $8. Obviously, we know the news up 30%. It's a huge move.
Yep.
Huge move.
We will see. It's hard to do technicals on that one. Tomorrow, CPI day. We're going to bring back Blue Putnam, former chief economist at the CME. And then we're going to have the rate expert on at 9 a.m. from Wedbush Securities. That's none other than Arthur Bass. So we'll get a double look at those inflation numbers, folks. Head on a swivel, 10 a.m. I know Triple D. You'll be on.
Alibaba blasting off right now too. I don't know what just happened. Alibaba just blasted off.
Look
There's
how much
news
exciting
everywhere
stuff
breaking.
happens at 9.
It was down like $4 and it just blasted off. Alibaba.
You see news? I mean, you know what we missed
That's
on this
news for
one?
sure.
The Lunar
100%
New
news.
Year. Oh my Lord. Look at that. That just thing went to 115. 115 and
Somebody
change.
just said something for sure.
I don't see a press release.
Wow, look
Looking
at
for a
this
filing.
candle
I don't
right
see a
here. If you
filing.
want to focus on a candle, you had a high at 117.82, a low of 113.37, and a close at 117.52. That was back on October 7th, but so far the pop has come up short. I don't know. Did he rescind tariffs on China or something?
No,
Or
China's not moving. It's just Alibaba.
it's just Baba?
I see Baba.
Okay. All right.
I don't see much else moving in China. Other China stocks are down. It's just Baba. Baba's had said something specifically. You guys got the news on Baba? Apple and Baba? Somebody's saying?
They found Jack Ma?
I don't know. Teppers and Baba, somebody's saying here. Baba using DeepSeek. So we got multiple things happening here, but wow. Yeah, this has been a crazy kind of morning here. So there's been some breaking news out of here. So we're just trying to find out.
Apple
Obviously,
partners with Alibaba to develop features for iPhones.
Yeah, Apple partners with Alibaba from the information. So Alibaba popping up. We know already, Alibaba is indeed one of the cheapest stocks that's out there. From a tech perspective, Alibaba, in the world is probably one of the cheapest AI stocks. One of the cheapest. I'm long still, obviously Alibaba.
I know. I taught you how to sell it in at 100.
I haven't sold any.
I've
been trading it too. I'm in and out, like on the trading side, but I have the long-term position in, my long-term account. I don't know. Like, you get a good pop-up. China's beat up today. So, this obviously popping up on this. It's good news. It's good news. Does Baba get back into the loved category? That's the biggest question, because Baba has been absolutely hated. If it can move itself back into the loved category, I don't even know how you start looking at this, because valuation is just stupid the other way. You got Palantir stupid one direction. And again, valuation doesn't matter when the story is hot. Valuation doesn't matter when the story is ice cold either. And the story's been ice cold. Does the Baba story have the potential to get hot? The PE, forward PE on Baba is 11. What AI stock trades with a forward PE of 11? None of them. None of them. Nothing. So, it's probably the cheapest AI stock that's out there. So it's hard to, bet against. Now they're getting deals with Apple. I'm just staying long.
Oh my! Look, did you see this move here? Now I know why Christian had to run. Shopify up $3.
Christian was all over that. He bought that dip. Christian, great call, Christian Fromhertz.
Yeah, I hope he's
Okay,
out
we gotta
there.
go. Holy
We gotta
crap!
go.
We know why it's cheap. We know it's China. Obviously, China stocks are hated. We know that. But I'm just saying, if the sentiment towards China stocks changes, or the sentiment even towards Alibaba changes, man, you got a stock that was $300 back in 2020, and they make a lot more money now than they did in 2020. So I mean, it's just so dirt cheap. But sentiment's got to turn. This isn't like Ford, or GM, where like, where is the AI story coming from here? Maybe if eventually it's self-driving cars or something. But I mean, Alibaba's got the AI story all over. It's plastered all over it. So it's unbelievable, really, that stock is this cheap, really.
Okay, that's it on this Tuesday pre-market prep.